Hey, what's up guys? My name's Zach. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be using the Streamlabs OBS to record this video. I know it's a little bit weird seeing me face on YouTube, but on the stream this is what you see. And today we're going to be talking about the cool little contraption called the TrackIR 5. It's in version 5 right now. So basically it's like a little sensor that sits on your top of your monitor. And this is the TrackClip Pro, which just connects to your headset or whatever. You can get the track hat thing that fits on your actual hat if you wear caps and stuff. And the sensor just tracks these little LEDs, and which makes you in-game able to do this. If I just switch scenes real quick. Too many buttons to press for this video, guys. Right, so if we just activate it and center it. So when I turn my head, you can see the effect. The character like looks up and down, everything. I've got some pretty heavy dead zones in my setup just for when I'm piloting, but you get the general idea, right? And you can tilt your head as well. That's pretty cool for when you're strafing around stuff in the ships. So overall, it gives me a massive jump in immersion, right? So, like, I couldn't play SC without this now, and you can see it feels natural, like just when you're talking, and it's sort of like moving around just a tiny little bit. I think that's really cool. But we'll just quickly show you the software of how it actually works. If that's the right one, yes, excellent. So this is the software where you can set all your degrees of where you want the camera in the game to look in proportion to where your head's looking, because if you want to look behind you in the game, you don't want to like be doing this, because then you won't be able to see the monitors, right? So you can move these around as you want. If you want my setup, feel free. I mean, I've got a pretty big dead zone in the center of mine, just so I can stay sort of focused on in the middle in the dogfights and stuff. But for SC, it's like completely amazing. The only caveat is that these X, Y, and Z axes don't work, so you can't actually lean forward and sideways and things, which is really cool. But the UI on your helmet, it doesn't seem to want to match up with it right now, so it's not fully implemented into SC, but it does work, yeah, if you just disable these, which I'll show you in a second once we get out the armistice zone. So if we jump back into the game real quick. And you can actually still use your mouse, right, to turn your character. That's absolutely fine. A lot of people get confused about that sort of stuff. But we'll jump in the ship, we'll fly out the armistice zone, we'll get out, and I'll show you how it works with the guns, because with those X, Y, and Z axes, you lean forward, you can't actually get like a better shot down the scope and things. So for little bits like that, and I'll show you the bug with it as well. Just repair my ship here real quick. It's cool around the UI as well, because you get like a good feeling of where it's like implemented. So it feels a lot better. Right, let's get taken off here. It's probably not the best place to jump out my ship. I'll probably get blown up, but once we get out the armistice zone. So you can look down at your MFDs a lot better. Let's just get stopped here. And we'll jump out. Come on. Exit. And like follow that up as well. So like next level immersion for me. I literally couldn't play the game without this TrackIR now. If this one broke, I would have to just get another one. Right, so we've got our gun. And you can actually not sort of lean around corners, but as you're leaning in the game, you can like tilt your head a little bit. It gives you that little bit of extra immersion, right? That's what everyone's chasing. So as for the walkarounds for this bug, so if we switch back to the monitor again, just real quick. So your pitch and roll is normally by default, and so is X, Y, and Z. So if we activate these real quick and then skip back to a game, which is there. So what this does, let's center it up again. So now as I move sideways, we can actually move the whole game, yeah? So imagine you're flying in a cockpit and you want to like look out the window or something. You can get that, but you can see just around the screen there that the UI doesn't really like that on the helmets. And this is why X, Y, and Z is normally disabled, because you never sit perfectly in the same position. And if you did, if you did want to use that, you would have to like just spam the recenter key all the time. So for example, if we look down have we got any other guns? If we look down the barrel here, and we can actually lean forward and get like a more precise aim. So for sniping, imagine like sniping if you've only got like a 4x or something, like this could be massively handy, right? And for inspecting your gun, you can actually look right down and just look at it. So it gives that extra little bit of detail. I know there is a like inspect thing for the gun itself in the shop. But for the most part, right, we need X, Y, Z disabled, just for ease of use, like more than anything, because the UI on your helmet is quite important, right? And this is obviously the tracking setup. So we'll get keys of, you can pause it, so like when I'm reading stream chat or whatever, it doesn't like, on the stream it's not like spamming left and right all the time, which I do quite regular, and I do have to recenter it to where you're sitting. So if I sat up, recentered it, you can do it like that. And so that's a pretty good walk around. If you think you sit low on the Star Citizen ships, you can actually like just lean up, then recenter, and you'll get like that view all the time. So that's another little walk around for the ship settings. It used to be a thing for the old Cutlass that people used to do. But for now, I would recommend just keeping this closed. We're not going to go too much in depth with the software. You can set all the smoothness and everything. I mean, that's the clip options. That sits on the top of your hat. And you can get the Track Clip Pro, which I've got. I think the track's a little bit better because it's got actual LEDs on rather than just a shiny surface. But I'm sure there's a million other videos out there that go well in depth about that. But again, if you want my settings, like I said, I've got a pretty heavy dead zone there for Star Citizen. I can export the file and you can just load it in yourself and see what you think, yeah. But for now, I think we're done with that software. So let's jump back into the game. And we'll jump back on my ship here. We'll have a fly around Olisar and I'll just show you how cool it looks. I'm sure everyone's seen it. Oh, and he has that. On the previous videos when I've been flying around the stations and things, and you can look the direction of where you want to be going rather than having your ship pointing that way. Absolutely shocked we didn't get blown up here. Okay, let's get forward. Need speed right up here. There we go. So as we can like fly by, we can sort of look past the ship at the Olisar there. So it's really, really cool. Good for cinematics as well. If you just take your helmet off, you can get some good sweeping shots just by using your head. Nice and smooth. But imagine like in the game, I mean, we set a scenario up where like me and a few friends were escorting like I think it was a caterpillar at the time, and just flying next to it, we're all sort of like in a formation. And just looking next to it and seeing all the other guys like flying, it was really, really like a good experience. And ultimately, I think like the VR mode for me is going to be the one which gives the best like feeling of immersion. I mean, because VR is really good. And Elite Dangerous, it was probably the best feeling, like sense of place I ever had, like using the VR stuff when I had the DK2. So yeah, it's really good. But you can always be on the lookout for pesky ships coming. If you want to take off and you're not really sure what's above you, you know, you can just like lift off without having to go into free look. So it's really, really cool, guys. Definitely recommend you picking one up. I got mine on eBay for like 65, 70 pound second hand or whatever. I mean, I don't think there's any point buying a new one. But there is also a lot of cheaper alternatives, which I'll try and link in the description. I don't really know a lot about them, but I think Supermax got a code for some discount on one of them as well, so I'll try and find that and give you some links to his stuff to get even cheaper. But yeah, head tracking is the way forward. One final thing, guys, in the actual game now in Star Citizen, as long as you've got a webcam, any webcam, it doesn't really matter. If you go to enable FIPE, oh, what's that doing? You can actually use your camera to do the free look thing. So if we enabled free look here, I would use the camera and it would track your face and it would give the same thing as the TrackIR. I don't think it's as accurate though, depending on what camera you've got, but as long as you've got like a good light source, I mean, I've got the light for when I stream, it's really cool. And like setting the dead zones and things, you can have a tinker around with the sensitivities and stuff, but it's well worth it, guys. Like even if you just try the FIPE, it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's that little bit done. I know it's a little bit different from me, guys, obviously not gameplay or anything, but let's get some pew-pews and chat there. So obviously, like normally when I'm streaming, that's all the stream chat. If you want to catch us streaming, it's just /epiczaqq on Twitch TV, yeah, just the usual. Links in the description, and if you want to know more about TrackIR or have any more questions about how it works in Star Citizen, please feel free to give us a shout, and I'll see you guys later.